my teacher friends. Kristian Kuhn coming at you again, affectionately known as the Bob Ross of composition. And I got a little gamification and edutainment for you in this video. And we're going to focus on the art of grammar, punctuation, and syntax. So this is what I got going on here. I have 50 mentor sentences that are totally devoid of punctuation, syntax, and riddled with grammatical errors. And what students need to do is revise them. I'm going to walk you through the whole game so that at the end of the video, you'll have a full breadth of knowledge on how to execute this in your classroom and have a lot of fun. So here's a little tidbit that I want to add to this. So I have a couple of students that say, oh, Mr. Kuhn's going to return us to the womb today in today's lesson plan. And here's what they mean by that. Whenever I bust out the glitter, the glue sticks, the arts and crafts, the gamification, the edutainment, they know they're going to have some fun. And it's silly, it's goofy, but it really loosens them up a little bit to learn at a higher capacity. And that's one of the reasons why I really embrace the merits of gamification and edutainment. I'm also a big proponent of the element of collaboration and competition in my classroom as well. And you'll see that at play here. So before I dive in and unpack this, let me first say this. Please subscribe to the new channel. It's called Kristian Kuhn, the Bob Ross of composition. We just recently eclipsed the 20K subscriber mark, and that absolutely tickles me. So spread the word far and wide to friends, colleagues, students, and please subscribe. So let me tell you about what's going to happen here. There's a PowerPoint that you're going to need access to in order to play this game. And there's this gentleman that has a site called PowerPointGames.uk, and he's got hundreds and hundreds of wonderful PowerPoints. I love his graphic design and his game templates. So it comes from him. And there's a link in the description below to get this Mickey Mouse template, PowerPoint template. And you can also download the 50 mentor sentences. I'm going to show you like 6 or 7 just to give you a sense of the game. But all the other remaining 40 plus sentences are available for download as well. And I'm also going to put in the link something that I reference in a couple of seconds here, Strunk and White's Write It Right, which is a seminal text that I use in my classroom to teach grammar, punctuation, and syntax. It's very user-friendly. So let's talk about the setup, the rules, and the gameplay for this. So the gentleman that created this slide has a YouTube channel as well, and he gives a little brief overview of the game. And what it is this. So Mickey sits atop these boxes, and then he disappears beneath one of the boxes. I split the class into teams of 4, and each team has to guess where Mickey is. If they correctly guess where he is, which box he's beneath, the red, the blue, the yellow, or the green, they get a crack at the sentence. And if they get the sentence completely correct in terms of like adding the punctuation, fixing the grammar and the syntax, they get that point value for that particular sentence. And then what I usually do, because it can get tedious, is I only do 5 sentences at a time because I have so many other things that I need to teach the kids, and I spread this out over a series of classes and just keep track of the score as we go. So let me talk about Strunk and White real quick. So they wrote this book called Write It Right. Teachers might be familiar with the elements of style. So I'm a child of the 90s, grew up in New York State, and most region students in the 80s and 90s were thrown the elements of style, and we had to memorize it, and that's how we learn grammar, punctuation, syntax. In today's era, that doesn't go over very well. It's a little too pedantic and dry for our students, and they kind of intellectually shut down. So here's one of the things that I do to set up activities like this. Strunk and White do a very nice job of demystifying and delineating the rules for grammar, punctuation, syntax. So they have rules for commas, colons, dashes, semicolons, ellipses, and periods, just regular dependent and independent clauses. So I call it the 10 times 3 rule. What I do is I have my students study the rules for the comma, for example, and then I say just write 10 original sentences properly using a comma, and I have them do that 3 times. And we do it for the colon, the dash, the semicolon, the ellipses, and then just independent clauses. And I find that after they do that 10 times, 10 sentences times 3. They have pretty much mastered the rule. So when it comes time to gamify, they have a really clear sense of how to execute things, and they're not making too many happy little accidents. So here's the big thing that Strunk and White emphasize in their text. They talk about breathing the sentence and exercising the pause. So oftentimes when students edit work, they don't have an audible voice in their head in which they're breathing the sentence and hearing their cadence, hearing their voice. And Strunk and White make the assertion that when the voice naturally pauses, you have to execute some syntactical feature, so a period, a comma, semicolon, etc. And basically, you just need to know the rules for those syntactical features. And at the pause, boom, drop, insert. So let me give you an example, and here's sentence 1 out of the 50. If you want to find some quarters for the laundry machine, look under the sofa covers. So as a class, we figure out where the pause is. So let me read it again and listen to the cadence of this. If you want to find some quarters for the laundry machine, look under the sofa covers. So my students would say, hopefully, put a comma after machine, right? Because you're linking an independent to a dependent clause. So the comma goes after machine. Let's take a look at sentence number 2. Not only did we find 4 quarters beneath the sofa cushions, but we located the car keys, the TV remote, and the dog bones. So one of the things we talk about is, must you place a comma in front of a conjunction? So a lot of students come to me thinking that in front of conjunctions, they systematically have to put a comma down. And then the one thing that Strunk and White talks about is the -1 rule. So you can see here we have car keys 1, TV remote 2, dog bone 3. So you're listing 3 things, so you subtract 1, you use 2 commas. And then it's up for debate as to whether or not you put the comma in front of the conjunction. So let's skip to number 3 and take a look there. Bob's company car, the purple Honda Fit, the one with all the hippie bumper stickers, is for sale. So again, you got a series of pauses in here, and what I would want my students to say as we're gamifying this is that you got a double parenthetical statement. So Bob's company car, comma, the purple Honda Fit, comma, the one with all the hippie bumper stickers, commas, is for sale. So you'd punctuate it that way. Number 4, let's take a look. Their coffee shop, the one who always fills the sugar shakers with salt, filed for bankruptcy. So the first thing I would want my students to notice is that the there is wrong. So in this exercise, we go over the there, the there's, the where's, the where's, the yours, the yours, all that type of stuff. Neither nor, I have that in here, who and whom. So teach all those grammatical rules in these 50 sentences as well. So fix the there, their coffee shop, comma, the one who always fills the sugar shakers with salt, comma, filed for bankruptcy. Number 5, let's see what we got here. When you go to the library, remember to bring the following, colon, your overdue materials, number 1, your USB drive, number 2, and a calculator, number 3. 3, you subtract 1, you're going to use 2 commas. So the only time you don't subtract 1 is when you're listing 2, according to Strunk and White. So they're a big proponent of the Oxford comma, and I want my students using the Oxford comma. Skip to number 6. Brian's dog only has 3 legs. It got hit by the school bus. So my students, I think it's because it's the texting generation, often forgets the flying comma, the apostrophe. So you need that for Brian, you need the possessive, and then we got independent clauses, so we're going to be using a semicolon. So this is the level at which I want my students to be able to look at a sentence, punctuate it, fix the grammar, and be able to talk about it, right, in terms of independent and dependent clauses. And Strunk and White do a very nice job of delineating all of that stuff. So I think it's very important and useful for kids to be able to talk at that level. And then the last one, just for demonstration, is number 7. Many people assume that pizza was invented in Italy. Independent clause. In fact, comma, it originates from China. independent clause. You can use a semicolon there. You can use a period as well. So a lot of these have a few choices that students can make, and as a class we discussed that. All right, so winner winner chicken dinner. There are 50 mentor sentences. You can download them below. And I'm going to sign off for now. Happy teaching, happy writing. Note that I'm a lead teacher for the National Writing Project, and we offer professional development throughout the academic and calendar year. The big one that's coming up is the Teach It Right summer sessions. And what we're going to do is a 5-hour training over 5 separate days, so 5 hours. And we're going to go over my Word Study Academy, my Nuance Academy, and then unpack all the expository modes and how to teach them in a Bob Ross fashion while using heuristics. So it's one of my more popular courses, and that fills up pretty quick. So if you have any questions on anything, feel free to give me an email at teachingwritingcoach@gmail.com. You can visit my webpage, teachinghowtowrite.com, about the PDs that I offer. Most are for free, some are for a nominal fee. And then students, note that I have my own independent tutoring company called Write at Ivy Write. I'm an Ivy League graduate, did all of my graduate degrees from Ivy League schools, and I used to work admissions at Brown. So when it comes time for you to apply to schools, I'm expert in the college personal statement and the supplements, the whole college application process, and I can help you clear that hurdle with ease. I've also been a teacher of AP Lit and Lang for over 2 decades, and I can help you along those lines. So that's it for now. Quick video. So in the days, weeks, months, and years to come, I'll keep adding videos. Again, subscribe and tell your friends, colleagues, students about this channel. Take care.